Well, hello again. We are in Sicily and we're starting our trip in Syracuse. This is the ancient Greek town, home of Archimedes, followed by thousands of years of interesting history, all kinds of layers, lots of fun. We'll go see the Greek ruins at Neapolis, we'll eat cannolis, we'll eat delicious foods of other kinds, see ancient relics from all kinds of time periods. Should be lots of fun. The home of ficus is just a potted plant. But in Ortigia, they grow all over the place. It's huge trees. This one's over 100 years old. We just finished touring the Duomo in Syracuse, the cathedral, and it's probably the coolest cathedral that I've ever seen because as you can see, it incorporates 5th century Greek Doric columns in it. That's because it was built on top of the Greek temple to Athena about 1200 years after that temple was built. Then it later became a mosque. When the Normans took over, it was a church again. It was damaged in the earthquake in the 17th century. Now it's got Baroque elements. It's cool. It's like a whole history book. Jamie, how was your first day in Syracuse?
It was lovely. Sunny and warm.
Nice. Is that the Temple of Apollo behind you?
Why, yes it is. And our room is right there, so we get this direct, lovely view.
So we're on our balcony of our hotel in Syracuse, and I want to talk about Corso Giacomo Matteotti right here. So Giacomo Matteotti was a famous anti-fascist politician in Italy in the 1920s, murdered in 1924 while trying to expose the fraud of the fascists. The fascists then took power in the 1930s, destroyed all the buildings on the street, knocked them down, made it into a wide boulevard, built this typical 1930s architecture buildings. Now, that street's called Corso Giacomo Matteotti. This art installation in the castle by Alfredo Piri is really cool. Toured Neapolis with our guide Giovanna. The ancient Greek theater here gets a temporary stage every year for modern productions. But this outdoor turnstile was just riotously funny. You threw it to the old ancient Greek sacrificial altar and to the Roman amphitheater. Okay, we're visiting Castello Euralio, which you can look it up in your Lonely Planet. It's not in there at all. Luckily, it's in my 1975 first edition of the Sicily Blue Guide. It might not be in the Lonely Planet because the only way you can access it is on one of these free tours that are conducted entirely in Italian. We don't speak a word of Italian. Happily, the Blue Guide gives us a lot of information about what we're looking at. So right now we're in the primary defensive ditch in front of the castle. There's all kinds of tunnels and passageways. Those three vertical columns back there are the remnants of the old drawbridge of all things. And looks like we're falling behind the tour, so we better go catch up. So let's learn a little bit about our site, and what better resource than just read just straight out of the Blue Guide what it has to say. So this castle right here is the most complete and important Greek military work extant. It was built under Dionysius the Elder in 402 to 397. Archimedes, the famous Syracusan, is thought to have strengthened the defenses in the late 3rd century, but his work was left unfinished because of the sack of the city in 212. Now, this is built on a high promontory, and you can see the ocean on all sides, and looking off down that way, you can even see Ortigia, the little old town part of Syracuse where we've been staying. It's a great location. Okay, we are in the necropolis of Pantalica. This is a big limestone valley with 5,000 tombs cut into the walls in various places. These appear to date from the 13th to 8th century BC based on the artifacts that were found in them, according to my Blue Guide. And it's a beautiful place to hike around. It's nice and warm despite it being February. There's cherry trees all over, so it smells lovely. It's a nice place. We got to explore this cool, partly enclosed cave. So we've just checked into our hotel in Noto, and it's fantastic. It's a super huge room. I think it's ordinarily supposed to be a hostel. We have one bed, bunk bed, another bunk bed, and the best part is the view. You gotta check this out. That is not too bad. around Noto one evening. We found this cool little local art show. Went in and checked it out. Ah, grazie. So we are in a palace right now. We're in the Palazzo Nicolaci. We were attracted to this place initially because of the super cool balconies. But we went inside for a tour, and look at how ornately decorated this place is. It's an old Baroque palace. All this stuff's painted on the wall. We're in the ballroom. So we're in Noto. Noto is famous for the extensive Baroque architecture found throughout town. Now, the conventional wisdom on Baroque architecture is that it was an attempt by the Catholic Church to counter the Protestant Reformation, and with the lively shapes and exciting living designs, lure people back into the faith. Now, that same style may have had served a slightly different purpose here in Sicily, where you really didn't necessarily have that much Protestant pressure. In 1693, the southern part of the island was hit by an incredibly powerful earthquake. It killed nearly 60,000 people and effectively leveled towns throughout the local area here, including Noto. This gave the opportunity to basically rebuild. And a number of people have written that the architectural elements and some of the carvings that were put together were intended to be, or maybe not intended to be, but had the result of being sort of an art therapy kind of thing for people here on the island. A lot of the architecture includes shapes, diamonds and spirals that would imply like a sturdy structure, whether or not it was real. And in addition to this sort of implied strength and stability of the new architectural style, there were light-hearted elements, fanciful elements that were frightening in the way that you might go watch a horror movie to be scared, but it's more of a distraction and it doesn't really affect you. It may cheer you up. So you get architectural elements where you get little masks or gruesome gargoyles and animals and stuff that are scary, but in a distracting way, not like actually a frightening way. And the whole thing taken as a whole apparently had the effect of being kind of therapeutic and soothing for the population. We are at Reserva Vendicari. So we're currently standing in the remains of the old tuna plant. This has been a tuna processing facility for hundreds of years. I don't really know which parts contribute from different time periods. Behind me, just off camera, is the Tower of Vendicari, which is from the 15th century. But one of the funnest things about coming here is there's tons of flamingos. There's a bunch of estuaries back there where we were looking at flamingos earlier, and we'll probably head back and take a look at some more. So we came to the town of Portopalo di Capo Passero simply because it was at the point of Sicily, looked like there'd be some pretty views and it'd be a nice place to have some pizza and some wine. Turns out, as is everywhere, there's archaeological stuff all over. There's a little necropolis near where we parked the car, and right behind me here is recent excavations of some salting ponds for fish from late Greek and Roman times, where they were salting fish and making their gross fermented fish sauce.
Not gross.
Not gross fermented fish sauce. Thanks to the miracle of the Google app that lets you read signs printed only in Italian, we were able to learn that this feature right here is another fish processing tank. This one dates from only the 1st century BC, i.e. Roman times. But what's really cool about it is it reflects a continuity of use of the space over a period of tremendous change. Here Jamie's going to show us where the Tyrrhenian and the Ionian Seas meet. So it's our last day, we're heading to the airport, just making one final stop at Castello Ursino here in Catania, and then we'll be on our way back home. Inside the castle are cool displays, art and artifacts from the area's lengthy history, all displayed kind of throughout the place.